Halloween Horror Nights returns to Universal Studios Florida for its 33rd year, and we are here with your ultimate guide to all the houses, scare zones, shows, and more coming to this year's event. But first, let's do a brief reminder on what Halloween Horror Nights is. Halloween Horror Nights is the world's premier Halloween event taking place at Universal destinations and experiences throughout the world. Now, for this series, we are going to focus exclusively on Universal Orlando Resort and the Halloween Horror Nights taking place at Universal Studios Orlando. However, there are also Halloween Horror Nights events in Hollywood, Singapore, and Japan. Halloween Horror Nights features 10 all-new houses inspired by cinematic greats, as well as original stories created by the Universal Entertainment team. It also features 5 scare zones that will feature creatures throughout the park, an energetic live show, food and beverage inspired by this year's haunts, a highly themed Halloween Horror Nights tribute store, and select attractions and rides that are open throughout the event. First, let's discuss the 6 houses based on original ideas from the Halloween Horror Nights creative team. Slaughter Cinema 2 is a sequel to a house featured at Halloween Horror Nights in 2018. If you're dying for a B-movie horror marathon, head to the Cary Drive-In, scream through scenes from creature features, grindhouse gore, spaghetti westerns, and more. Major Sweets Candy Factory is a prequel to the popular Scare Zone from Halloween Horror Nights in 2022. You've been invited to chaperone a field trip to a candy factory, but this sweet tour is about to turn sour when the free samples transform the kids into candy-coated killers wielding sharpened candies. In Goblin's Feast, visit a goblin village where hordes of bloodthirsty goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, and witches would love to have you for dinner. In the museum, Deadly Exhibits, you decide to visit the new folklore museum exhibit, The Rotting Stone, when an evil escapes from within, destroying everything in its path. In Monstruos, the monsters of Latin America, with La Muerte as your guide, you'll be asking for mercy from the 3 terrifying monsters, the blood-sucking Tihuelpuchi, owl-faced witch La Lechuza, and bone-ripping El Cibon. And finally, in Triplets of Terror, you're invited to the Barmy Triplets' birthday bash. But beware, they celebrate by recreating their family's murders. Prepare for a gory gathering. Next, let's talk about the 4 intellectual property houses based on characters and movies licensed to Halloween Horror Nights. Guest's journey into Insidious the Further begins as they step through the iconic Red Door, where many of the tormented spirits and demons from the franchise await, determined to ensnare humans and steal their souls. Fans will come face to face with the red-faced demon, who will attempt to lure them into his lair, the grim Keyface, hoping to lock his victims in his dark dimension, the ghastly and dangerous Bride in Black, and the vengeful spirit of the man who can't breathe. As guests make their way through the haunted house, they'll go from Red Door to Red Door, traveling deeper into a dark and timeless astral world where they must evade this collection of sinister creatures at every turn, or their souls will be trapped here forever. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire will transport fans of the film franchise to New York City, where the Spengler family teams up with the original Ghostbusters. An ancient relic has set free a vengeful spirit, and the Ghostbusters must join forces to protect their city and save the world from a second ice age. Guests will venture through freezing and frightening scenes from the movies, including Ray's Occult Bookshop, the Ghostbusters' new high-tech lab, and the New York City sewer system, encountering iconic ghosts and characters. A Quiet Place will mirror the stories and silence of the first 2 films, with unique sound design, special effects, and scare actor performances that will incorporate the use of American Sign Language. Fans will travel through the farmhouse that serves as the Abbott family shelter and step into the root cellar where Evelyn Abbott escapes to give birth as one of the creatures closes in. The snarls of the larger-than-life predators will follow guests at every turn, and they must remember, if they hear you, they'll hunt you. Female classic Universal monsters, the Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula's Daughter, the She-Wolf of London, and Oxunamun will be headlining an all-original Halloween Horror Nights haunted house, Universal Monsters, Eternal Bloodlines. Guests will be introduced to an all-new terrifying storyline as they find themselves in the center of the ultimate battle between 2 unexpected alliances of classic female Universal monsters. Fans will encounter Saskia Van Helsing, a new fearless huntress and daughter of Abraham Von Helsing, the hunter who killed Count Dracula by driving a stake through his heart and destroying his reign of terror. Saskia will now face Dracula's daughter, Countess Maria, who arose from the dead to seek revenge for her father and destroyed the Van Helsing bloodline. Now, Dracula's daughter actually comes from the 1936 movie, Dracula's Daughter, and she'll be forming a deadly alliance with the She-Wolf, inspired by the 1946 film She-Wolf of London, and Oxunamun from the 1932 film The Mummy. And they'll be doing battle with Saskia Van Helsing, as well as the Bride of Frankenstein. This year's Halloween Horror Nights contains 5 scare zones. As you enter Halloween Horror Nights, you'll experience Duality of Fear, where you must choose a path: the visceral horror of sinister or the unearthly terror of surreal. These appear to maybe be the icons of this year's event in the same way that Dr. Oddfellow was in the previous year. Now, if you choose the path of sinister, you'll end up in Torture Fair, where Sinister's Renaissance Fair comes with a devious theme of medieval torture. Brave the gloriously gory homemade torture devices till you're put out of your misery. And this will be in the New York area of the park. However, if you choose to go to the Hollywood area of the park, you'll be following Surreal's path into Demon Queens, where you'll get caught in an otherworldly hellscape ripped from the darkest corners of your mind, where 4 merciless queens, loyal to Surreal, rule. In the Central Park area of the park, you'll have the Swamp of the Undead. In Backwaters, Louisiana, you're about to be swamped by zombies born from the bodies of trespassers, killed and dumped in a nearby bog. And the major scare zone this year in the San Francisco area of the park is Enter the Blumhouse, featuring characters from The Purge, Freaky, and Black Phone, as well as Megan dancing into your nightmares. Megan was huge last year, featuring many viral videos online of the Megan dances. I would imagine we will see that feature again this year. Also, not an official scare zone, but expect the Death Eaters to make a return this year in Diagon Alley. We've got one major show this year, which is the return of Nightmare Fuel. They're back with Nocturnal Circus, which is a spectacle of pyro and aerialists. The show will take place in a dark circus, a new nightmare that carries with it a sinister curse. Now, if you're staying on site at an official Universal Orlando hotel, that comes with a number of benefits, including dedicated access to Halloween Horror Nights, which is a special access to a dedicated HHN entry gate each night from 6:30 to 7:30 if you have a hotel room key card and Halloween Horror Nights event admission. Each Universal Orlando hotel also comes with complimentary transportation to the theme parks and Universal City Walk. You'll be able to experience Halloween-themed lounges at Universal Cabana Bay Beach Resort, Universal Aventura Hotel, and Universal Endless Summer Resort Dockside Inn and Suites, featuring Halloween-themed specialty drinks. And there will be themed lobby experiences in select Universal Orlando Resort hotels, which include themed photo opportunities. Obviously, this year's Halloween Horror Nights will feature a themed tribute store that will have a ton of great merchandise and goodies and food options available for you to purchase, including the return of Chucky, who, though not being featured at the event this year, is going to come with a tumbler and a brand new popcorn bucket with new sayings this year. If you liked this guide to Halloween Horror Nights 2024, make sure to give us a thumbs up on this video, and while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know when we release more Halloween Horror Nights coverage, including our annual food guide of all the goodies coming to this year's event. It's coming up very soon, as well as construction updates, opening weekend coverage, and more. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.